Hey, welcome to the next video. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to spend another video in the workshop. What I have is this spray booth. I'm not going to talk a lot about the spray booth itself because there are tons of things on the internet already. You can go look that up. But what I do want to talk about is the way that this vents. And I don't like it, and it's not going to work for me. So I'll show you what it comes with, and here's what you get for the venting of it. You get this flexible pipe. It stretches out, and it goes to 4 or 5 feet, which is fine in itself. You get this piece here that hooks into the back of it, and then you're supposed to take this and hook it onto this and put it out the window. Well, living in New England and seeing how it gets very cold here, putting this out my window and leaving my window open this much, and my window is fairly long, this is not going to work because all the heat in my house is going to go right outside, and it's just really not worth it. So we're going to toss this out. Alright, so let's get started with this thing. The first thing I did was I got some 1-inch pink foam from the home store, and that's just this stuff here. It's 1 inch thick, and I cut it to the size of my open window. So I opened up the bottom sash. It's a double hung window, and I measured from the upper sash down to the sill on the window, and then all the way across. So it's sort of a tight fit, but not really. And this is what's going to block the window, so I can leave this in and not lose my heat. But the other things I also got one of these. It has the little door that pops open, and it stays closed, and it vents to the inside. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this through this. But we have to strengthen this some first. So in order to do that, I have some masonite, hardboard, whatever you want to call it, 1/8 inch thick, and I'm going to sandwich it on top of this. I'm going to put a piece on this side and a piece on the back side, and I'm going to glue it together. It's going to make one solid piece of board with the foam in the middle. So why don't we start with that? Alright, so now I've glued this all together. You can see we have the foam in the middle and the hardboard on the outsides. And all I did was glue it with some liquid nails. And I let it sit for a few hours. And now we're ready to move on with this. So the next thing to do is going to be to mark where our vent is going to go. So I have the vent here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of this. In order to find center, what I have, the quickest way, is to take a straight edge and draw a line from corner to corner. I'm just going to go through the center here, like that, and then we'll draw another line this way. Like that. So the center is right here. So then from that center point, this is a 4-inch pipe. So I want to measure out 4 inches. So take my ruler, I'll put 2 inches right on the center point, which will go right here, and 2 inches out here, which will go right here. And then we'll do the same thing going the other way. Here and here. So that's the outline of the hole. And then we're just going to set this on here so it's like that, and we'll match it up to the all the marks that have been put on there. And then we're going to take a marker and we're just going to trace that out. Oops. That's the hole we need to cut. So I'm going to go do that and I'll come back when that's cut. Okay, so we've got the hole drilled now. And because this is not perfectly round, I didn't buy a hole cutter, I cut it with a jigsaw. It's not perfectly round. This is going to go to the outside. So here's what we have. So this will fit in here like this. And then I pre-drilled some holes that will go like this. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then one in the center on each side. And then once I bolt this in, we will we'll take that, we'll run a bead of caulk around the back, and then set this down in there. And then we'll let that dry at that point. So that's the beginning of it. This will be the outside, of course. And you know, then we have that part done. And I'll make sure, we want to make sure that I seal this with some I want to use paintable caulk because I'm going to paint this to match my window, so when it's in, it doesn't look like an eyesore. And this whole thing will get painted all one color. So that'll take care of that, and then we'll move to the inside of this. So let me come back in a little bit and we'll start working that. Okay, so now let's get this thing put in. So what I want to do, so I'm going to put a bead of caulk around this, and I want to hit the screw holes. Okay, so now that's all attached. It's good and solid. It's not going anywhere. Now I just want to fill in whatever gaps. Alright, so that's that. Now we're all sealed up on the outside. Next is to go to the inside. So now we're going to flip this around, and this is what we have inside. Okay, now same as the outside, I'm going to caulk all the way around this, but first I want to take off, there's some little edges poking up here, I want to smooth all those down. And then, because we're going to paint this, I have to take the shine off the hardboard anyway so that the paint can stick. So I'm going to do that as well up close, because once it's caulked, we're not going to be able to stand here any longer. So that'll go like that. And then we'll run a bead around the inside. And then I think before we go any further, I'm going to let this caulk set up a little bit, because I'm just going to make a bigger mess if I keep going. So we'll sit with that for a little bit. And I'll come back when that's dried. We'll come back, I'll let that sit for maybe an hour or so. Should be enough. We'll come back then. Okay, so this is sat for a little while, it's not completely set on the clock here, but that's fine. The next thing we're going to do is I want to add some handles to this so that I can pull it in and pull it out of place easily. So I've already put the first one on, and I'll show you how I did it. So the first thing I did was marking between here and here is the center, and I have a line. And then I set this on, and I figured out center top to bottom for this to be. So that's what I've done, and then I marked one hole. Okay, and I'm just going to drill that one hole. It's not worth trying to get them all in at once, because if you drill one, chances of the thing being in the same place for chances of it being in the right place for the rest of the holes is pretty slim. So now we'll flip it up this way, and we'll cut off, we'll remove all of this extra blow through here. Take a screw and push this right through. Now I have to use washers and nuts on the other side because you don't want self-threading just going into the hardboard. It's not going to give you enough power to hold this into place. Now we need a washer. And the washer is to keep the area around the nut firm. Pull this down nice and tight. Okay, so now we're just going to pull this up. We want that to be square to our surface here, so I'm just going to push this up. And I'm holding the speed square down, and I'm making sure that there's no gaps in here. That tells me that it's nice and square and straight. So now we go and we drill the rest of the holes. And then I haven't decided yet on the back side. I may cut off some of this bolt here just to make sure that they're not going to get caught on things. But for the most part, that's it. That's done on the outside. Now I can spray this and paint it how I want it. The inside, I now have something to grab onto to fit it up into place. Now the only thing left is I want to run a weather strip at least on the top of this, because I cut it purposely smaller than the opening in my window so that I have room to slide this in and up and drop it down. So I want to put a foam weather strip here, at least here, if not maybe on the bottom of my sash that this can sit up against, just to keep air from coming in. And that's it, I'm done. And then we just use this to hook up to our venting system with my spray booth. And I bought some elbows for that. So then this will come off and this will go like onto here. We'll fit this in, this will go off this way, and it goes right to where my spray booth is. And I may use that flexible hose to go from here to the elbows on the spray booth. And then these are removable, so it's not a permanent thing in there. And there you go. That's my fix to the venting situation on the that came with the spray booth. So take it for what you will. This is what I'm going to use, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped you some. You know, you can visit see more of my stuff at mikestrains.wordpress.com. Stop by for a visit. You can see my trains and some of the other stuff I've done. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.